My name is India Opal Bologna, and last summer, my daddy, the preacher, sent me to the store for a box of macaroni and cheese, some white rice, and 2 tomatoes, and it came back with a dog. This is what happened.
Oh my gosh, it's a dog. Someone called a pound. Somebody get that dog. Call the pound.
Wait, that's my dog. Come here, boy.
Don't you know to never bring a dog into a grocery store?
Sorry, sir. It'll never happen again. Come on, boy. Let's get you home. That summer, I found Winn-Dixie was also the summer me and the preacher moved to Naomi, Florida, so he could be the new preacher at the Open Arms Baptist Church of Naomi. My daddy is a good preacher and a nice man, but sometimes it's hard for me to think about him as my daddy because he spends so much time preaching or thinking about preaching or getting ready to preach. And so in my mind, I think of him as the preacher. Before I was born, he was a missionary in India, and that is how I got my first name. But he called me by my second name, Opal, because that was his mother's name, and he loved her a lot. Anyway, while me and Winn-Dixie walked home, I told him how I got my name, and I told him how I had just moved to Naomi. I also told him about the preacher and how he was a good man, even if he was too distracted with sermons and prayers and suffering people to go to grocery shopping. Okay, boy, you have to behave and have good manners. Stay right here. I'll be right back. Daddy, do you know how you always say to help the less fortunate?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found a less fortunate at the grocery store. Could you stay with us for a while?
Opal, what are you talking about?
I found a dog.
No dogs. You don't need a dog.
Winn-Dixie.
He's a stray if I've seen one. Are you looking for a home? Well, I guess you found one.
Thanks, Daddy! You don't have a family, and neither do I. Well, I have the preacher, but I don't have a mama. She left when I was 3, and we're kind of like orphans. What? Do you think I should go talk to the preacher? I'll think about it. When I was done working on him, Winn-Dixie looked a whole lot better. He still had his bald spots, but the fur that he did have cleaned up nice. It was all shiny and soft. You could still see his ribs, but I intended to feed him good, and that would take care of that. I couldn't do anything about his crooked yellow teeth because he got into a sneezing fit every time I started brushing him with my toothbrush, and I finally had to give up. But for the most part, he looked a whole lot better, and so I took him to the trailer and showed him to my preacher. Daddy, there has been something I've been wanting to ask you.
What is it?
Since I'm 10 years old, can you tell me 10 things about my mom?
Come on, Opal. I'll tell you 10 things about your mama. 1, she was funny. 2, she had red hair and freckles. 3, she liked planning things. 4, she ran fast. 5, she couldn't cook. 6, she loved stories. 7, she knew all constellations. And 8, hated being the preacher's wife. 9, she drank a lot. 10, she loved you.
But she left me.
She left us.
Winn-Dixie couldn't stand to be left alone. We found that out real quick. If me and the preacher went off and left him by himself in the trailer, he pulled all the cushions off the couch and all the toilet paper off the roll. So we started tying him outside with a rope when we left. That didn't work either. Winn-Dixie howled until Samuel, Mrs. Detweiler's dog, started howling too. It was exactly the kind of noise that people in all adult trailer parks did not like to hear. Daddy, he doesn't want to be alone. Can you come with us?
Fine, let's go. Let us pray. Opal,
Yes, sir?
get the dog.
Good job, Winn-Dixie.
And let us pray for the mouse.
I spent a lot of time that summer at the Herman W. Block Memorial Library. The Herman W. Block Memorial Library sounds like it would be a big fancy place, but it's not. It's just a little old house full of books, and Miss Franny Block is in charge of them all. She's very small, very old woman with short gray hair, and she was the first friend I made in Naomi. It all started with Winn-Dixie not liking it when I went into the library, because he couldn't go inside too. But I showed him how he could stand up on his hind legs and look in the window and see me in there, selecting my books, and he was okay, as long as he could see me. But the thing was, the first time Miss Franny Block saw Winn-Dixie standing up on his hind legs like that, looking in the window, she didn't think he was a dog. She thought he was a bear. This is what happened. Ah! Miss Franny, are you all right?
A bear, he has come back.
Where is he?
Right there.
Miss Franny, that's my dog.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. How did the bear get into the library anyway?
That's a long story.
That's okay. I love stories. Can Winn-Dixie listen too?
Well, I guess. Back when Florida was wild and consisted of nothing but palmetto trees and wild mosquitoes that could carry you away, my daddy asked me what I wanted for my birthday. Not to appear prideful or anything, but he was very rich. So I wanted this library, and this is what I got, this here building. I became a librarian at a very young age, and one day, while I was sitting here at this desk, reading War and Peace, the bear came right up to my desk, and he scared me, so I threw the book at him, and then he ran away with it. And that's why I don't like bears.
Winn-Dixie's bald spot started growing fur, and the fur that he had to begin with started looking shiny and healthy, and he didn't limp anymore, and you could tell that he was proud of looking so good, proud of not looking like a stray. I thought what he needed most was a collar and a leash, so I went into Gertrude's Pet, where there were fish and snakes, mice and lizards, and gerbils and pet supplies, and I found a real handsome red leather with a matching leash. Winn-Dixie was not allowed to come inside the store. There was a big sign on the door that said no dogs allowed. So I held the collar and the leash up to the window, and Winn-Dixie, who was standing at the other side of the window, pulled up his lip and showed me his teeth, and sneezed and wagged his tail, something furious. So I knew he absolutely loved that leash and collar combination, but it was very expensive. I don't get a big enough an allowance to get this leash. Do you think you can set me up with an installment plan?
Installment plan?
Gertrude!
I don't think I can set you up an installment plan. The owner wouldn't like that.
Then I can work for you.
Gertrude!
I'm real trustworthy, but the only thing is Winn-Dixie, my dog, would have to come in with me.
Gertrude doesn't like dogs.
Is she the owner?
Kind of. Gertrude is a parrot named after the owner.
Well, she might like Winn-Dixie. Almost everyone does. If the two get along, can I get the job?
Maybe.
Dog!
Looks like she likes you. You can start on Monday. You're hired.
Thank you. You won't be sorry.
Winn-Dixie! This dog sure likes peanut butter. You can always trust a dog who likes peanut butter.
I'm sorry that he came into your garden.
It's okay, and I enjoy a little company.
I'm Opal.
I'm Gloria Dump. What do you call him?
Winn-Dixie.
Like the grocery store?
Yes, ma'am. I told Gloria Dump everything. I told her how me and the preacher had just moved to Naomi and how I had to leave all my friends behind. I told her about my mama leaving, and I list out the 10 things that I knew about her. And I explained that here in Naomi, I miss Mama more than I ever had in Whately. I told her about the preacher being like a turtle, hiding all the time inside his shell. I told her about finding Winn-Dixie in the produce department and how because of him, I became friends with Miss Franny Block and got a job working for a man named Otis at Gertrude's Pet and got invited to Sweet Pie Tom's birthday party. I even told Gloria Dump how Dunlap and Steve Dewberry called her a witch, but I told her they were stupid, mean, bald-headed boys, and I didn't believe them, not for long anyhow. And the whole time I was talking, Gloria Dump was listening. She was nodding her head and smiling and frowning and saying, and is that right? I could feel her listening with all her heart, and it felt good. That night, there was a real bad thunderstorm. But what woke me up wasn't the thunder and lightning. It was Winn-Dixie, whining and butting his head against my bedroom door. Winn-Dixie, what are you doing? Do you want to go outside? Is that it? Winn-Dixie, come here!
Opal, what's going on?
I don't know.
Opal, he's afraid of the thunder.
It's okay, Winn-Dixie. It'll be over soon.
We'll have to keep an eye on him.
Yes, sir. After a while, the storm did end. The rain stopped, and there wasn't any more lightning, and finally, the last rumble of thunder went away, and Winn-Dixie quit running back and forth and came over to where me and the preacher were sitting and cocked his head, like he was saying, "What in the world are you two doing out of bed in the middle of the night?" And then he crept up on the couch with us in this funny way he has, where he gets on the couch an inch at a time, kind of sliding himself onto it, looking off in a different direction, like it's all happening by accident. Like he doesn't intend to get on the couch, but all of a sudden, there he is. And so the three of us sat there.
Miss Grady, do you have a book I could read to my grown-up friend out loud?
How about Gone with the Wind? It's a lovely story about the Civil War.
The Civil War?
Don't tell me you've never heard of the Civil War.
I read about the Civil War. Isn't it a war between the North and the South over slavery?
Yes, ma'am. My great-grandfather was in it.
Your great-grandfather?
Litmus W. Block. He created the litmus lozenge. Would you like to try one?
Sure. Can Winn-Dixie have one too?
Yes. Do you like it?
Yes. Well, thank you for the book. See
Bye,
ya.
dear.
And so I read the first chapter of Gone with the Wind out loud to Gloria Dump. I read it loud enough to keep her ghosts away, and Gloria listened to it. And when I was done, she said it was the best surprise she had ever had, and she couldn't wait to hear chapter 2. I opened up Gone with the Wind and started to read, but the whole time I was thinking about Otis, worrying about him and not being allowed to play his guitar for people. In the book, Scarlett was looking forward to go to a big barbecue where there was going to be music and food. That's how I got the idea.
That's what we need to do.
Huh?
Have a party.
I guess I can make peanut butter sandwiches and egg salad.
Thank you. I'm going to invite people right now. I brought a little after dinner treat. Thank you. I'll be right back.
It's starting to rain. We should get inside.
What a downpour. Oh no, where did Winn-Dixie go?
Now, Opal, he's probably around here somewhere.
Honey, we have to quit.
We can't just leave him. I can't believe we're going to give up.
India, Opal, don't argue. We're leaving.
No.
Opal!
I bet when Mama went missing, you didn't look after her.
I tried, Opal, but I couldn't stop her. Come on, we're leaving.
Read the book to find out the rest.